Hey, thanks, Phil. Oh, shoot. We're just going to start the show over again.
We said like the funniest things ever, too.
We were so funny.
Oh my God. Never get that back. It's not even recorded.
We could just start over again. It's okay. Everybody got the silent intro. Collin's just like that all the time. Okay, great. So we didn't miss anything, really. We can just skip back to Steve. It's okay. So this is Steve's Minnie Mouse project, and it is got a Flora and a BLE module, and it's using the Adafruit BLE Connect app to control the animations on the Minnie Mouse ears.
This is, I just had this idea. Walking blinkers. Blinkers for walking.
For walking down the street?
For
when you're
your intent
you're on your phone already. You're on your phone already text messaging, and so you might as well also just press a button that says that you're
and get a GoPro up there too, and then you don't even have to raise your head up. You just stare at your phone the whole time. Someone's bitter about people who use their phone on the street walking around that makes Collin slow down. It's Collin. Plus, this next project.
Next up is another customer project. This is Lauren's floor umbrella. She tagged us on Instagram, so you can do that, and we'll find your projects too. Super cool, glowy LED umbrella, very impressive. She said it was a lot of work, but she's very happy with the way it came out. We are too. Congratulations on your achievement.
I keep wanting to think one of these that's reflective on the inside and just the light scattered all over me and not out in the world.
Well, I mean, you are a video art guy, so I can see how you could use that as like a fun light for making some trippy video effects.
Just an idea.
But for being in a Halloween parade, I feel like this or the floor umbrella is pretty good. Okay, this is
being in a Halloween parade.
Yeah,
this would be pretty good.
This is a tutorial by a guy on Instructables who wanted to show his students how to basically, like, very simply put LEDs in fabric. So he made this tutu. I think it's funny that he's also dressed up as Spider-Man because it implies to me that Spider-Man is a ballerina and
he's an agile guy.
I mean, I think he's got the flexibility and the strength, but does he have the musicality?
That's untested as far as I know. I don't even know if Spider-Man's been in
Has anyone seen have you seen the Broadway show?
That's a good crossover point there. I have not.
I mean, it's got to have some dancing in it, right?
I've heard it's pretty polarizing.
Anyway, thanks for sharing your Instructables project. We have another Instructables project. This is a LED pom-pom on the top of a hat.
Nice and simple.
Yeah. You can learn how to make it. I love it when you guys make tutorials for your projects, or at least document your process, because then we can see what's up. Speaking of which, we have one more of those. Customer project by Mark sent this one in. It's using our LED bar. It's basically like a
mystic talisman.
Yeah, it looks like a talisman pendant, doesn't it? With like an image that's backlit by the LED bar. That's basically just an LED where the lens is shaped like a big, long diffusing piece of plastic, and then the CR2032 breakout with the switch on it.
Nice. Now, would that be a talisman or an amulet?
Oh, I'm not sure. I can only sort of. I'm an expert on the wearable electronics portion of it.
Electronics.
No, not mystical
Wearable
electronics.
Mystics. That's for another show.
Yeah, probably. Mystical electronics is for a different show.
And going into a case study.
Oh, sure. News on our education front. We did this workshop with Oracle in February, or the Oracle Education Foundation put on this workshop at Design Tech High School in California for a bunch of ninth graders. And they have a volunteer program because Oracle's this huge software company where engineers at Oracle can volunteer to teach in STEM education programs. And so they paired up Oracle engineers with the students at this high school, and they all together worked on cool Flora wearables. So they got a bunch of kits from us, and we helped figure out which parts were going to be good. And we had the girls on the show and tell after I've been working on their projects for a little while. And if you want to learn more about how that all went down, or how you can get ideas for doing something similar at your school or in a local organization that you can check out the case study. It's linked to on the blog.
Okay.
It's like a long blog post, basically.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. This is the tip of the spear, showing people. Please, if you don't know already, women can be engineers. I know you guys know, but
yeah, but the rest of the world doesn't really know yet. I don't know. So it's cool to expose high school students young to this kind of thing, to know that like technology is not just inside hard plastic. It's not gender specific, but it's also not always inside a hard plastic shell. It can be soft and flexible, and it can open up your imagination. I know that my imagination is limited sometimes by like the skills and techniques I already know. You know, like you gravitate towards things you think that you can accomplish, and then maybe just like one step beyond that. And so this offers like a fun way to sort of open up their understanding of what's possible.
Whenever I feel too static, I know I need some sort of event to shake me out of it.
Yeah, right.
Things get too routine.
Cool. Okay, in other news, on the Adafruit Learning System, we've published a new guide about battery powering your wearable electronics.
This is a super handy guide.
This is really commonly asked questions. You guys are always asking what battery to pick for your project, or yeah, exactly that question.
Yeah,
and so
this is a really big question.
we had this video a while back about battery powering, but we never turned it into a guide. And so today it is also a guide, and it has specific information about like which projects use which batteries and like big lists of inspiration. So if you are thinking of what project you can do, you can check out the battery guide and see like, oh, I have this battery already and I want to see what I can do with it. Or like, since the batteries discussion is not really a cut and dry decision, like, oh, this is what your circuit's like, use this battery. It depends a lot on like what code you're running and how much room you have for the battery. Like if you're making a tiara, obviously you want a much smaller battery than if you're wearing like a vest that could have a pocket on it for a battery. So the design decisions around which pack you use, for how often you're going to have to change it, for how long you want to be wearing it at the time. You can see like our decisions in that process, like with a bunch of sample projects. So, and as well as the formula for calculating your totaling up your milliamps required.
I see the power supply on wearables to be like this sort of like keystone engineering, like sort of pressure point.
It's a very important thing, because if you have a battery but it's not it's not big enough, like in the jacket you're wearing, for example, for now, which plays audio samples, you thank you. If it's a loud audio sample, it's going to pull more amperage from the battery, and I've had with this one, if I use an underpowered battery, where it'll cut off as soon as it gets to the loudest point, because it has basically like overtaxed the battery, and it shuts off and it restarts the circuit.
That you could think, what is that, the code? What's wrong? Yeah.
But no, it's just that the battery doesn't have enough like beef to support that loud sound sample, and it only happened on like the loudest sound sample, not on like the lower ones. So it can be like a critical part of troubleshooting. Anyway, head over to the learning system, and now when you guys ask me battery questions, I'm going to ask you if you've read it first before I give you my free consulting.
Have you done your homework? you better, because it's time for back to school.
It is time for back to school. Nice.
Did you say that?
It's a good segue. It's a good segue, Collin.
Thanks. I'm just trying.
It's back to school month all month long on Adafruit. You can check out our hashtag back to school on the blog, and to follow all of our gift guides, project guides, like books, roundups, and like other cool projects you can build for back to school, or kits and stuff that you need. I know I'm getting ready to teach my annual class at SVA grad students,
right.
And they get Arduino kits and work on them in class. So like now's a really great time to stock up. If there's something out of stock that you need for your class, you can always sign up for a back in stock notification, and then hop on it as soon as you get the email that says it's back in stock. Many of the things that are popular for back to school go out of stock and come back in stock relatively quickly, as we're making them to serve you better.
Pressure point of product availability season. I wasn't a big fan of going back to school. I like being in school a lot of times, but for some reason, back to school, seasonal allergies. That didn't help. All
right, first day of school I think is kind of stressful for anybody. I know that you're being like judged more harshly. Maybe you're trying to size up other social groups in school. I'm talking like elementary school, high school stuff.
Maybe that was it.
And then but then when I got around to college, I was excited to go back to school because I wanted to get my learn on.
Right. The real motivation.
Yeah. Anyway, I made this video about how much I like back to school, and some wearables projects you might want to make. So let's watch that together.
Watch and learn.
It's back to school time, and I've got 5 projects to electrify your school year. Let's check them out. Hold on to new summer friends by trading LED friendship bracelets made with paracord, conductive thread, and Adafruit LED sequins. The clasp is also the switch for easily powering on and off. If LEDs are too flashy for the classroom, solder up a buzzing Gemma mindfulness bracelet that can remind you to switch study topics or pay attention in class. For toting your files in style, try a USB locket made with a golden micro flash drive. Show off your school pride or express your personal style by modeling some custom 3D graphics, then print them out and sew them onto a cap or book bag. We've got all the 3D printers and filament you need to get set up. Ace your school's next talent show with your own laugh track jacket using the Adafruit Audio FX board and battery-powered speakers.
Yeah, that one's a crowd pleaser.
If you're just starting out in wearables, study up with our Getting Started with Adafruit Flora and the Flora book pack, filled with everything you need to make your fashion tech projects at home. What are you making for back to school this year? Let us know in the comments or on our weekly show and tell hangout on Google+. Thanks so much for watching, and subscribe for more wearable electronics from Adafruit.
Kidding.
We couldn't, we just couldn't let it go.
There's no audio joke. I'm just working out the kinks.
If you'd like to get any like Adafruit kits or parts to build your cool back to school projects or to teach your students or whomever, you can use a discount code that we have that you may have not heard us announce earlier. That is back to school, all one word. You can get 10% off everything in the Adafruit store except gift certificates and software. So that's all Adams. All Adams are 10% off until 11:59 p.m. tonight with code back to school.
I'm feeling better about back to school now.
Good. Well, I mean, I made this laugh track jacket for you that I thought would help, like, break the ice in some social situations for you during back to school time.
You know, I tell a joke when I walk in. Healing. There's a lot of healing going on here today. But
okay, moving right along.
I'm more interested in what you are wearing.
Okay, let me show you.
Also, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing a fun thing today, a fun wearable device. It is my new Ringly. Yay! Do you guys remember I had one of these before?
I do.
This is the new one that I have, the special edition tourmalated quartz Ringly, which is very cool. But this is what my old Ringly looked like. It was black. It comes in a little charging box. It's super cool notification wearable, so it pairs with your phone, iOS or Android, sends through notifications with a customizable color and vibration setting on the of the LED on the side.
If I recall, you loved it so much you destroyed it.
You know, not everything I love becomes destroyed. Just wearable electronics.
It was too beautiful. It couldn't survive.
It couldn't survive. No. So here's the complete, or you can show whichever one you want to show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's it destroyed. To its credit, I soaked it in like a jar of acetone for like a whole night to try to dissolve any glue that was like holding the stone on, and I couldn't. And it still was working. Like it still was functioning great from inside the acetone.
It held on to life as long as it could.
Yeah. And then I hit it with a hammer, and then the circuit came out, and the circuit's rather beautiful. It's a little circuit burrito of flex PCB around the battery and the vibrating motor, and yeah, I mean it's really nice. See, there's a little video of the little there's just a quick little overview video showing the unboxing and very quick unboxing and showing how the app works and all of that stuff. So this is from a while back. You may remember this video we did about the tearing down the Ringly. So if you want to check it out and learn more about how it works, you can check that out in the Adafruit Learning System and on our YouTube channel.
Right.
And yeah, I ordered as soon as we took this one apart. I ordered this new one because I liked it so much and wanted one that wasn't in pieces. And I just got it last week in the mail. So that's the life of your pre-order. Maybe you can go to the picture of the whole collection. Here's all of the different colors.
Which one would I choose?
I don't know. Which one would you choose? I thought maybe the emerald one for you would be like...
Green is my favorite color.
Yeah, green is my favorite color too, but somehow I like this one that's... I don't know. It's the only one that's not gold metal. On the gold color on the...
Right. Yeah, that's odd.
I don't know. I like the sparkly sort of like jagged...
Makes sense.
It matches my shirt.
If you're more likely to notice the notifications. It's not as bright.
Right. Anyway, the Ringly's super fun. They're a female founder. It's a neat thing. It's one of my favorites. Way better than any of the smartwatches or whatever that I've tried on or taken apart.
Smartwatches.
Just in terms of like, hey, I got a text message and my phone's in my bag. They're pretty useful to me.
Right. Oh, you know what?
Hey, Collin.
Speaking of smartwatches.
What are you wearing, Collin?
Come on, I had a segue.
I'm sorry. Oh, I thought you were...
Because it was like, speaking of smartwatches.
I thought you were leaning on me to do the segue for the...
Oh, all right. Live show.
Collin, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing an Apple Watch. Becky.
And what's your favorite new app on your Apple Watch?
Today I downloaded Microsoft Translate. And I'm hoping it'll help when I take my trip around the world and visit cultures with don't speak English.
What does it do, Collin?
Well, it speaks languages for me. I give it words, and it
tells you how to say it in a different language?
Let's try it. Let's see. Okay. I'll open the so you can hear the audio read back, so I don't have to.
But I'll read it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say. Wait. Start again. Oh my God. That's not gonna work. Yeah. What are you? It's just translating me going, what? How many dogs can you fit in your car?
En su coche.
I only caught the tail end of that.
Yeah, see, that's not going to work.
You want to try again?
Let me try one more.
Okay. Ready?
What type of wig are you wearing?
¿Qué tipo de peluca?
Got it.
Sounds
¿Qué
convincing.
tipo de peluca? That seems
See, the
right to
thing
me.
is, I won't know if it's right. I'll just say it out loud.
Yeah, I
or
feel
use
like
it to speak.
since I sort of speak Spanish, I like my vocabulary is just really bad. I feel like
Got
I
a couple
could
years,
I
yeah.
could sort of like determine whether it's on the right track or not. But if it were in a language that I didn't know at all, or that used a different character set,
You'd
you
be
know,
just
like
riding
Thai
on-
or
riding on
Korean,
faith.
you would just be showing your watch or your phone, right? And to be clear, the phone said the words, but the watch doesn't say
Right.
the words. The
Right.
watch just gives you the text of what so you'd have to show it to somebody, right? If you couldn't read. I mean, you can pronounce
And they
Spanish,
also
but
have to work their way through all the what, huh? I don't know. In the beginning when I was trying to.
no, there's a little usability factor there. But anyway, that's a cool. I mean, like, why do you think Microsoft made this for the Apple Watch? Is it because they had it for their Windows Phone or something, and they wanted to sort of show off their speech to text, or what?
They want you to be able to communities and cultures to join up and
That
bridge
can't be their
gaps
business
and-
reason for making this app.
And cross branding presence.
Branding presence.
But the first one sounds.
The first one sounds better, but because Google obviously has a pretty strong lock on speech to text,
Right.
like what, and
Not the only
and
game
Apple
now.
too. So like, why do you think Apple allows Microsoft to make when like Siri works on your watch too, right?
But it would be pretty like lame of them to be like, no.
I mean, I agree, but it's worth
No.
talking about, right? Like,
Yeah. Well.
what do you think
because
they're-
they would be lame.
do you think that they're confident enough that Siri is better? Does Siri do translation? I don't have an Apple Watch.
But, hey Siri. Can you do translation? Oh, it opened up the map. So I'm not kidding either. So I'm guessing that's a no. Right.
All right, great.
Hold
Well,
on,
thanks
let
for
me find
showing
the
us what you're
driving
wearing.
directions.
If you find our pontificating about Wearable's business strategy interesting, you maybe want to buy something from the Adafruit store to show your support and keep us on the broadcasting. And if you want to do that, you can get 10% off your whole order using discount code Back to School. Back to school.
The more you buy, the more audio there will be. It's true. It's really true.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting kind of bored. Let's play a game.
Okay. All right.
That was easy.
Yeah. Okay, I made up this game to play with you, Collin. It's called Wearable or Cell Phone Provider. And I struggled with a while to figure out what I did, like airlines for a while. That wasn't working.
Right.
This is my first stab at this
Okay.
game. I think you're gonna like it. And you can play at home along. All you have to do is tell me each time there's gonna be 12.
Did you ever see like Johnny Carson? He put on like the big hat and he'd do the Swami thing and okay, that works. Thanks.
The giveaways are in here though, so don't let me forget because I'll
Right,
drop them
right,
on the floor.
right.
Okay, are you ready to play? Do you understand the rules?
Wearable or cell provider?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so if you're playing along at home,
Do I get a lifeline or anything?
nope.
Okay.
You just guess.
All right.
The first one, altruist.
Altruist.
Wearable
Do I
or
get a spelling? No.
yeah, it's right there. Yeah,
Okay.
the spelling is right. Yeah, you do get a spelling
Altruist.
because some of them are weirdly spelled for sure.
Cell provider.
Wrong.
Cool. Okay.
It's
No,
it's
that's.
it's
right.
this.
Totally makes
It's
sense
the
now. I
brand.
see
It's
it.
the jewelry line made by Covert, and it's gonna have like notifications and mainly notifications for your phone.
She has a cell phone.
She does have a cell phone. It uses a cell phone. So you got that one. You didn't get that one right.
Got like a half
Next
quarter
one.
of-
No. Next
Right.
one. Optus.
Optus.
Wearable
optimal,
or cell phone provider.
Cell provider.
Correct. This would be an Australian cell phone provider. Optus. Good job.
I
Okay.
read on that one.
Next,
All right.
move.
Completely by
I
accident.
added a remote control while you weren't looking.
No, you didn't.
I didn't. Move.
Move. Okay, move. I mean, it's, misspelling of movement, you would think. Cell provider.
Incorrect. It's a wearable fitness coach activity tracker.
You didn't make any of these.
No, they're all real. No,
I
I
get it,
didn't make
'cause that's the
anything
other
up.
game.
Yeah, the other game. I didn't make anything up, I promise.
Move. You wear it on your wrist. 'Cause
No, you
can
wear it on
move.
your ankle. Cuff.
Okay, see, this one sounds like really obviously like a crowdfunding project. So like it would be a trick. Ready? Cell provider.
Incorrect.
You did is it a double trick?
I did a double trick on you. Well, I mean, I just put it in the stack.
She knows how I think.
Cuff is
I didn't take that into account.
is a notification wearable and an alert wearable where you can press and hold on the button and it'll send an emergency alert to your emergency contacts. And it has a lot of different like jewelry. You can wear it in a bracelet. You can wear it on a pendant.
Right, they might
okay.
want to think about their naming.
Anyway, next, base. It's hard for you,
You're
huh?
doing playing keep away. You're just throwing me around. It's a
Yeah.
little 3-card Monty.
Yeah. Wearable or cell phone provider?
You know what I'm going to say, right? Cell provider.
Correct. Good job. This is a Belgian cell phone provider.
Nice.
So far, you have gotten none of the wearables right.
Well, you can see where my level of expertise is.
Proximus.
How many are these? How many
12.
are they?
12.
12. Okay, here we go. Proximus. Wearable?
No.
Oh, hey.
No, it's also it's another Belgian cell phone provider. There's their logo. See, I didn't show you the logo because then you would have guessed cell phone provider, right?
See, it's going to be straight cell provider. That's
Scarab.
okay. No, could not possibly be a cell provider. Too negative. It's got to be like a car company name or something. I mean, a car model name. So Kickstarter.
They're not all crowdfunding either. Some of them are just regular wear. They
I'm
don't
sorry,
have to be
wearable.
crowdfunding. Just
I
wearable.
got confused because of the previous game. Wearable.
Correct. Ooh, good job. This is a mapping
Logic one.
air quality and quantified self app for tracking lots of sensing your environment.
Doesn't have legs.
Does not have legs like a beetle. SoftBank.
SoftBank. If there was a cell provider, I probably want to use the term bank because that could be kind of confusing them with a bank. Wait. Cell provider.
Good job. Yeah,
Right.
SoftBank is a
that was my
Japanese. It's a
instinct.
Japanese cell phone provider.
And then I reversed it.
Right, because battery backups could be like a solar battery backup could be a bank, right? Yeah.
Of course. Probably not.
Okay, just a couple more. Sonera.
It's a restaurant near me.
Could be.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not a restaurant.
Sonera. The new Chevy Sonera. It's a.
That would be a Sonora. Sonora.
Sonata.
Sonata.
It's wearable.
Nope. It's a Finnish cell phone provider.
It's a scam, is what it is. This is all. You couldn't have fixed it.
Think.
Wearable.
Correct. Do you remember this one?
No. Oof. I should.
Do you remember the picture?
Yeah, I do remember the picture. It's like a, digital headache
Tinitel.
massage. Tell. But it's 2 L's. Tinitel. Not fall. Wearable.
Correct. Good job. It's for children. It's like a kids tracking. All right. Okay. Good job.
Hit my stride. How many more
1,
I got?
2, 3, 4, 5. You got 6. Oh, there's like one more to go. Sorry. There's one more. You got 6 right so far.
Okay.
Make it 7 to break the tie on yourself. To break your ratio to get above
Break my
50%.
tie.
Yeah, to get above random.
Yoigo.
Yoigo.
Oh, we could go either way. You went international with the cell providers, huh?
Yeah, they're all international. None
Right.
of them, of course, none of them are
Cell
American.
provider.
Correct. Good job. It's a Spanish cell phone provider. Okay, 7. Collin got 7 out of 12 correct
I got
in
more right than I got
wearable
wrong.
or cell phone provider. Did you do better or worse than Collin? Let us know in the chat.
It felt like I did a lot worse than that.
You got more than half of them right. Good job. If you were entertained by Collin's answers or liked playing along at home, you can get 10% off your Adafruit order using code back to school. That was intense for you?
Yeah.
More intense than you anticipated it being?
It's a lot of
Here, you can have the mouse back.
pressure. The mouse will help. Thank
Well, I mean, I like to think it wasn't that much pressure.
No, it's fun. It's fun. But it's like it's a thrill ride. It's a
Thrill
wild-
ride,
wild
okay.
Storm. Let's move on.
Roller coaster of emotions.
With 2 letters, I like to call Q and A.
This is where you can ask me the questions now. I don't have to. You don't have to be on the hot seat.
Oh my God! Thank God.
If you have questions about wearable electronics, not about like your order or like what my dog's name is, like just like wearable electronics questions,
I ask you that stuff.
that's fine.
you don't
But if
need
you
to
want your
answer
questions answered on the show and you want a chance to win the book and get your question answered, it should be about wearable electronics, either in the comments here, later, now, on the Google Plus page, on the Adafruit Twitter, and on the blog.
They'll be harvested.
Yeah, and we'll harvest them and put them up and answer your questions and make you eligible to win a giveaway, which today is a copy of the book that I co-wrote with Tyler Cooper, Getting Started with Adafruit Flora.
An excellent thing to have.
What are our questions today,
And
Collin?
From our bushel of questions, fresh from the harvest, first we pull. Alice Sato asks, Dear Miss Becky, what's the smallest kind of battery I could use to power a high-torque micro servo? Is it possible to alter any servo to become continuous rotation? Also, what's the difference between Adafruit's Flora and Gemma?
Well, that's a lot in
Yeah,
there,
we got-
Alice.
we
I
got
mean,
a
I tell you, you can ask as
three-pronged
many questions
attack.
as you want, but like, geez, ask them separately, why don't you? No, that's okay. The first one.
Too bad.
What is the smallest motor you would recommend for the high torque micro servo? It would be this guy, the 150 milliamp hour one. We do have one smaller light poly
small.
battery, but I think this one, depending on this is probably the smallest you could get away with moving a very light object, and it is the one we used in the laser dog goggles project, which had just the little laser on a servo motor tilting back and forth. If you need depending on what the I assume you're using a high torque motor because you want to to move something that's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
You might need an even bigger battery than this.
The old trial and error there.
But I would step up maybe to the 500 milliamp hour light poly for that. But this one is probably the smallest you could get away with depending on what you're powering. Now, for the other part of the continuous rotation, there's like a ton of tutorials online about how to mod servos to be continuous rotation, and I think you can do it to most of them. So check out one of those. I think there might be one on the learning system. And then we do have a continuous, like a
many.
prefab continuous rotation servo in the store, but it's not micro. It's a regular size.
Right.
So I could see where you're wanting to do that. And then the second part of your question was the difference between Flora and Gemma. Funny you should ask. We did an entire video just about that, and it highlights the differences in both the hardware capabilities and then like what the recommended applications are, and gives a bunch of sample projects that take advantage of Flora for its advanced features, some that take advantage of Gemma for its simplified pared down low power features, and then some projects where you could do with either one and why. So I encourage you to watch that video. But basically, the Flora is like a very fully featured, can do lots of serial communication, lots of sensors at once, all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, serial debugging, Bluetooth, wireless communication, all that kind of stuff. Whereas Gemma is very simple, very good for like a single like analog or on-off switch sensor and like a bunch of neopixels or similar. So you got your baby bear and you got your papa bear. Is kind
You got
of
options is what you got.
yeah.
Question number 2.
We don't have a Mama Bear wearable microcontroller.
Not yet. Sally Byers writes, anyone else having a problem with older projects done with stainless steel thread misbehaving? Flickering and erratic, specifically color, behavior not attributable to battery problems that I can tell. The Moon Lotus jacket is beginning to do it.
Sure. Okay. So Sally would of course be in the chat right now. Hi, Sally.
Hi, Sally.
And this would be the jacket she's referring to. Her beautiful
Lovely.
Sally makes beautiful conductive thread LED circuits, and her Moon Lotus jacket is gorgeous and has so many neopixels. And so after a while, so the stainless steel thread is very springy, and even if you tie really tight knots in it, over time they can kind of like come loose or like spring open, because it's the force of that metal is always trying to get to a relaxed state, and it's under pressure. So what it sounds like, the symptoms that you're describing are definitely data connections that are faulty, because if it's got enough power, But then, like, the NeoPixels use a packeted data, like a very high precision timed data protocol that uses only one wire.
Partial package.
Right, so there's no redundancy, which means that if it's got an intermittent signal or the packet's being interrupted, it's not going to get the right message, and it's going to like just turn whatever color it thinks it should be. Glitch out, yeah, and I've experienced that for sure. So it would be your data lines, and you can verify that by taking an alligator clip and just shorting your data line, you know, so that your alligator clips are clipped to the pixels, and so it's providing a more sturdy connection potentially instead of the conductor thread, so you can help diagnose the problem. But also, if you have one faulty data, because they're all chained together, if you have one faulty data connection downstream, it's going to affect all the ones later. So, yeah, that can be tricky business. So alligator clips for debugging, and then resew over your data lines with conductive thread, or consider even, you know, well, I wouldn't say put a soldering iron near your Lotus code, Sally, but in the future, maybe you'll build your next coat with silicone coated stranded wire. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say about the stainless steel thread. I haven't had it for more than 3.5 years, as long as I've been here. So
we're on the cutting edge.
We're on the cutting edge, Sally, and you're definitely on the cutting edge. So yeah, all I can say is, like, what did you use to seal your knots when you tied the data connection lines? Like, do you do your data connection lines as like one big loop that connects so that you have two channels, or is it just one with a knotted? Yeah, redundancy. I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
As much as possible.
Yeah, those are my thoughts.
Okay, let's have some more thoughts.
Okay.
A thought from Patricio Piratini sounds like this. Hello, I'd like to power 3 meters of dot star LEDs attached to a Flora platform. 432 LEDs.
Yikes.
How much power do I need? And it should be a wearable project, so is there a portable source of power that you suggest sell at Adafruit to buy together with dot stars in Flora? Thank you very much in advance. I might suggest a car battery first.
Yeah, a car battery.
Kidding.
So you can use our battery guide to calculate up your amperage, and you know, this is a crazy project. So first of all, I would like to recommend that if you haven't done a project this ambitious before, that you try to do a project that's like half as ambitious as this to start out. And that would be like a floor umbrella or like the brain cap. The brain cap has like 76 NeoPixels or something, and that's probably the project I've made with the most. I've never made a project with more LEDs than that on it at once that was a battery-powered thing. So keep in mind that that if I haven't made a project that complicated, like, that might say something to you about...
Maybe.
I mean, well, also, I try to make beginner-friendly projects as a point of order, but... it's definitely advanced. So if you're not familiar, it's one of those things like where if you have to ask me, you might want to rethink. Anyway, you might want to rethink what you're up to. But let's go down this rabbit hole, shall we? So using the formula to calculate.
Possible.
Yeah, it is totally possible. So to power, like, each of your dots or LEDs is gonna maximum current draw is 60 milliamps. That would be 20 for your blue, 20 for your red, 20 for your green. LEDs all in one. And so if they were all on full brightness, so that means your dot stars would be white. Yeah. They would be drawing 60 milliamps each. And so 432 of them is almost 26,000 milliamps, which is 26 amps.
That's a lot of amps.
We don't have a power supply or a battery that can deliver 26 amps. So, but that's pretty unrealistic use case. You're probably not going to have them all in full brightness on white. You're probably going to have maybe full brightness on one color, or a color that's halfway between two colors,
Possibly.
which is still going to be only a third of 26 amps.
Right.
So keep that in mind. But so what I would recommend for you is dim that brightness. So I find that for night, especially for nighttime things, that the full brightness is like too bright and it blows out your like cameras that are taking pictures of you, and you're hard to look at and you ruin everyone's night vision. But if you lower your brightness to like a brightness level of like 40 out of 255, it's still very visible and uses a lot less power, and therefore your battery will last a lot longer, and you could do more ambitious animations that use more white, although it's going to look a little pink on a lower brightness. But anyway, and this battery, the 6600 milliamp hour lithium ion pack, can deliver up to 13 amps at once. So I do believe that if you could cut your brightness down to 40, you'd be using less than half of your 26, which would be less than 13, which would mean that this battery could work for you. That said, you're going to need to change your batteries pretty often, possibly every hour or less than an hour.
Not going to be rocking it all night with this thing.
No, but you asked, and that's the answer. Yeah, we do.
Again, that was just an accident.
Oh, it was just a rogue? It was just a rogue one?
Yep.
You can unplug it if you want.
No, I don't want to.
One of the wires is definitely like busted on your laugh track jacket, so I wonder if it's the one for the laugh track.
Is this a prank laugh track?
No, I really didn't prank it,
Go
but
off at any time. Becky be explaining the answer to somebody.
I didn't. I swear I didn't do it. What? Do you think I'd want it to cat screech at me?
I would, actually. I kind of like it.
Well, then maybe I'm being pranked.
Who's getting pranked here, huh? You be the judge.
Okay.
Are we ready to answer?
Yeah.
Let's answer another question.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be harsh to you, Patricio.
Shut. Oh. I don't.
You don't think it was okay?
You were just being
Tough love?
realistic. No, we don't.
Okay.
But that's nice of you to say. Sean Howland writes, "Hi Becky, I've noticed that some wearables projects, namely the Firewalker LED shoes, use the Flora, yet I can't seem to think of why a Gemma wouldn't do, beyond the obvious code and I/O limitations. For something like shoes, I feel like the Gemma would be a clearer, more cost-effective solution. Could it be possible to recode the Firewalker LED shoes and modify them to be Gemma compatible? Or is the setup required Flora compatible only?"
Nice question, Sean. So first of all, the most obvious things that comes to mind is that when we made the Flora Firewalker sneakers, Gemma didn't exist. There was no Gemma. It didn't exist. So that's why the tutorial is like doesn't. I mean, I should maybe make it reference Gemma. I'm going to do a Firewalker FAQ video soon.
But you had other reasons.
Yeah, sure. So that's primarily what we were working with was no Gemma. But also, just because the Gemma is like smaller and like less fully featured does not make it easier to use with this project. You can use a Gemma for the Firewalker sneakers, but there's no serial debugging. So one of the main steps that makes the Firewalkers work so well is that you're doing serial debugging to the computer while you're wearing the shoes. So you have it plugged into USB and you're like stepping on the sensor, and the sensor reading is going to be different depending on like what batch of Velostat you get and what and your weight. You choose your threshold for triggering it, and there's like a little bit of finesse there in the numbers. And if you aren't being able to monitor the serial data coming in, it's much harder. You just have to guess at what those numbers are and kind of like do trial and error, and it takes a lot longer. So it's a lot easier to get to have your project come along faster if you build it with the Flora. But I understand it's more than twice as expensive as the Gemma. So
That's good reasons.
yeah.
Okay. Now, we're going to give one good reason to give away a book.
Okay, thank you guys for your questions. If you have more questions, you can ask them as many times as you want. I don't care if you've won before. And like, if, for instance, like if Sally wins the book, like she can just give it to somebody. Like, we're all friends here. Collin, pick us a winner.
Sure, friend.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
No cats allowed in here. Oddly enough.
Who's the winner? It's Sally.
It's
Sally, congratulations.
Congratulations, Sally. Your name is written on this paper.
It is. Sally, email support@adafruit.com to claim your book. And thank you for being inspiration to the community. You did that one on purpose. I saw your hand go to the button. Okay, we're way over time here. Let's get this show on the road. If you didn't win and you'd still like to purchase a copy of the book or a Flora book pack or anything for back to school, you can get 10% off your whole order except for gift certificates and software by using the code back to school all night long. And then if you need to wait and you need to wait for tomorrow to make your purchase, there'll be another discount code for the 3D Hangouts show,
Right.
which you can watch tomorrow. And then tonight is Ask an Engineer and Show and Tell at 8 o'clock and 7:30 respectively.
Another action-packed Wednesday. Packed with action.
Yep, where you can show off your own project by RSVPing on the Adafruit Google Plus event for the show and tell, and then you can join the chat live with Lady Ada and Mr. Lady Ada at 8 p.m. on Ask an Engineer.
And following 24 hours, or not 24 hours, but following the day after, as you mentioned just a moment ago.
Yeah, it's 3D Thursday. So all day on the blog is 3D Thursday. There's also 3D printing, which has a lot of overlap with wearables. So that's relevant to your interest maybe. And there'll be announced another discount code if you didn't get your order in today. And with No Aim Pager, they show you all kinds of like cool CAD techniques and debut a new project video that uses 3D printing and electronics.
Amazing factory they run.
We're so far over tonight. I think our game show we didn't know how long.
I was indecisive. I'll admit it. But,
It's all right.
you know.
Well, thanks for sticking with us for this extra
Quite
long
a lot of fun.
episode of Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern and Collin Cunningham. I think to close out, we'd like to share with you our new channel trailer video. So if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, this video will give you an idea of what you could find there. And hey, it's free. It lets you know what we're up to. We'd like it.
Perhaps you'd enjoy it.
And we'll be back next week with another episode.